Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or you're just happy to see me?
Hello, everybody. 1 minute late. 1 minute late because I was letting this one into my room. Say hi, Wendy. Yeah, she's over it.
You just missed the chance to blame it on me.
No. No, I'm gonna be honest. It's because I had to get up and let her into my room. She's hanging out with me this evening as we talk about our personal. All right, so these not necessarily like everyone's favorite actresses. These aren't the top 10 of all time objective lists. Pretty much, these are our personal favorite top 10 actresses, and this was actually a lot more difficult for me than the male actors because interpret as you will, I tend to pay attention to the males more than I do the females. So I really had to think and like narrow it and just come up with a top 10. Pretty much. Because I was like, I was going back because I've seen movies from every decade. I grew up on like films from the golden age of Hollywood. So
nostalgia is a big factor too. If it's
a little bit, but for me, my nostalgia tends to go towards like it's easier with the male actors. I don't know what it is. It was easier with the male actors, but this was a tough one for me. This was actually a tough one for me. So I had to pick like something that I enjoyed watching, like for whatever reason. And if there's like the lead actress in there, like is that lead actress memorable sort of situation, plus nostalgia, plus whatever. So.
Yeah, and also, I had to make sure I've liked them in, several movies, not just one, because that was the thing too, and it got a bit harder. But
yeah, let me just tweet out that we're live because I forgot to do that. But yeah, but let everybody know that's a little bit about yourself, Steve, and then I'm going to say hello to the chat once I tweet this out.
Yeah, just fellow from Norway. I'm not that deep or complicated. That's it. Just guy from Norway.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a very.
I'm not gonna. I'm trying to like do a tweet. I'm not able to like talk to the chat and like this guy from Norway.
Yeah, I'm not very self-promotional, am I?
No, you're not. Actually, you're horrible.
Yes. Yeah. But anyway, that's it. If you find that interesting, then follow me on Twitter.
If you find that interesting, there's something equally wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say to that.
Yeah. I'm actually closing in on 2,000 followers on Twitter, though, for the second time because I got nuked once.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. The skanky hose got me.
Yes. I can't remember. Like, what exactly did you like say in your tweets? Because it wasn't anything I didn't see anyone else say, but you got nuked.
Yeah. Oh, permanently nuked.
Yeah.
It was Christy. Well, Christy had tweeted out a trailer for some stupid reality show about some 20-year-olds, women on some island with nothing. And I said those skanky hoes wouldn't survive a day without their cell phones.
Oh yeah, right. You got permanently nuked.
Yeah, for inciting violence towards a protected group. And I tried to appeal too, but no. They said it was clear as day what I was up to. So.
Well, I don't fault them there. With you.
Yeah.
But anyway. I wanted to show Tris something. Well, I can probably pull it up on my phone because. So yeah. Because I think Tris did a picture of Maza, and it's made me want to get back into sketching. But before we go into our top 10 actresses, and like I said, it was tough for me. I'm going to say hello to the chat. And from the top, we have Trey. What's up? Ready for this lit discussion? Yeah. Ms. Martin Uses. Hello. Good to see you. Charlie Stevenson. What's up? Citizen Ronan. This was a tough one for me as well. Yes, this is my kick. I do gaming streams primarily there. Don't want to entirely give up on Twitch, but I only stream there maybe once, maybe twice a week. So
Tip: do not give her any advice about the maps in the games.
you can give me advice about the maps, but you need to, let's put it this way, clear and precise directions, which you were seriously lacking in.
Well, that's because it takes a little time to type it, and then you're wiggling about in the game.
Anyway, yeah, only 10 spots to fill with over a century of film actresses to select from. Like I said, when I say I've seen movies from every decade, I'm like not exaggerating. I've seen movies from every decade, going back to the silent film era, pretty much.
I had too. Actually, probably a little bit because of you, because you told me to watch a couple.
Yeah, and there's
from a decade I might not have watched something.
I think that there's a movie I'm going to be talking about today that I don't know if anybody's recommended to you, but when I get to one of the actresses on my list, I would bring up a specific movie. And like if you haven't seen it, I would like highly recommend you watch it.
Okay.
Gravy, what's up? Let's talk about Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah, because I think it's Tris down here is like 1 through 10 is all Jennifer Lawrence because obviously she was the first actress. She's the first ever.
This is the only one.
Yeah. You get that blasphemy out of my chat, Trey.
You know what? She is actually a good actress. I've seen her in other things.
Well, and as in name only Galadriel, she is horrible.
Yeah, but it's the script, and she is miscast.
Yeah, well, she's like incredibly miscast. Hey Keely, good to see you. Yes, 1 minute because, like I said, I was letting my dog into my room. Hey, Spiralhead. Wait, this list isn't for those kind of actresses. So wait, if they're your top 10, Spiralhead, they're in your top 10.
Well, technically,
they're actresses. They're actresses.
Yeah, it is acting.
Yeah. I had to not just go with attractiveness. Yeah. Good God, you two. And thank you for thinking I look good. Here, I'll show you this, Tris. I don't know if you know Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I took a picture of this a while back. You know what? I'll just show it on my Instagram because I posted it on my Instagram.
Am I the only one?
I can't find my sketchbook. What?
Am I the only one who doesn't have Instagram?
Probably. But that's the gentleman from Buffy. I don't know. I mean, I don't assume anything of anybody, pretty much. That's what I said. But this is what I drew years ago. So.
It was better than my drawings.
And I'm like wanting to get back into sketching.
Always knew you were sketchy.
Oh, this is just camo. That's it. That's all the design is. No, that is actually. I see your question, Trish. Normally you would think so. But it's a little too thin. Plus, that's an insult to the gentleman, and it's in one of the creepiest episodes ever from Buffy. So yeah. This is my throne. Yes, this is where This is where I got this sent to me. So I call him my movie watching buddy. See, he's got his popcorn, his candy. We're talking Gremlins in December for the 1s and 2s. Because Gremlins is one of my favorite movies. That is just retarded. I like Twitter is just yeah.
Remember when I got put in the slammer for a week for calling Joy Behar a bimbo?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, bimbo of all things.
Yeah, that's all I said. I just said bimbo.
Mm-hmm. That's all. Like I've heard. I say worse. I call everyone when I'm gaming a cunt.
Yeah.
You would think would be worse. than Bimbo. But no, Bimbo is a nukeable offense.
You know what's
Essentially.
you know what's kind of funny is when we play D&D, it's you and me and Teresa. Teresa's a devout Catholic,
Mhm.
and you know, but the Norwegian is the one who cusses the least.
So,
If you think about it, the one who
yeah.
cusses the most is the Catholic. Trust
yeah,
me.
pretty much.
Mara's got nothing on Teresa when playing D&D.
Yeah, she actually swears more than me.
Yes.
I can swear like a sailor, but when I'm playing D&D, I'm actually rather tame when it comes to the cursing.
Yeah. Teresa doesn't cuss in general, but during D&D, yeah.
So it's like we're like pretty much reversed. Sort of
Yes.
essentially. Like, I cuss every other time. D&D, I'm tame.
I only
Teresa
cuss
doesn't
if
cuss really any other time. D&D, like a sailor.
I only cuss if a character is cussing.
Yeah.
Usually I just say damn it.
Or that I'm ruining his search history right now.
Yeah, that's happened years ago.
I know, but like especially now, and like you have to play as like certain NPCs. Anyway,
yeah.
I'd have to get another camera, Trey. I'd have to get another camera to be able to do something like that. So, yeah, I'm hoping like this weekend to be able to sit down and do something because it's a holiday weekend and I can kind of like breathe, pretty much. Kirsty Swanson's the original Buffy and did a much better job. I still like Sarah Michelle Gellar. I like the show for what it was. It's one of my favorite shows growing up, but I will give you that Kirsty Swanson did do a better job. Just wish it was in a better movie. I love the movie, but I will say I just wish it was in a better movie. So, yeah, pretty much. Hey, fuck Norris. Good to see you. All right. I give her the edge. Sarah Michelle Gellar had more to work with. So it's like she's had basically more, because she had more to work with, she had the ability for the character to grow, whereas Kirsty Swanson only had the one movie. So I think if like it had been like kind of a series, I think Kirsty Swanson would have shown that she would have had the range to be like a really good Buffy. So that's why I don't think it's fair necessarily to compare the two. I still give Swanson the edge, but the movie itself could have been better. As much as I love it, it could have been better. So I was always Spike. As soon as like Spike came into the picture, I was like,
Spike was great. Angel was emo.
Yeah, so I love Spike. Spike was like, no, hands down. So I wasn't fangirling over him, but like as soon as he came into the picture, I was like, yeah, Angel, go away. So yeah, so
a friend of mine looks like the actor who plays Angel. So in the late 90s and stuff, women were all over him.
Yeah. Oh my god. But anyway, okay, so our top 10 actresses. So this is a top 10. How the top 10 generally works is Stig rolls a d20 to see who goes first. So
yeah, which is a formality because you win anyway.
Well, we'll see. I mean, there's always the one chance.
Yeah. Actually, it should be 50-50, but nah.
Hey, Condor. Spike was interesting. Angel for being funny. I gave Angel funny. Kirsty Swanson, I think, she did movies and then she did TV. I know I saw her on Psych. But she did quite a bit of TV.
You know who was awesome though? Spike's girlfriend, the psychic one.
Oh yeah, Julia Landau, Martin Landau's daughter.
Yeah, she was a 10 out of 10. She was marvelously twisted.
She was in. It was kind of a small role, but she was in Ed Wood with her father. The Johnny Depp movie. I can't remember what real life person she was portraying, but her father was playing Bela Lugosi in that movie, and then Julia Landau was like one of the, I think it was like she played the actress who was cast in Plan 9 from Outer Space, I want to say.
Oh, Dinner Bells is, I think Christy Swanson was also in The Phantom with Billy Zane. If you haven't seen that movie, get it watched. It's great.
I think the Phantom was the movie that my dad was actually consulted on a bit, because my dad was always into aviation history. We really need to get into the top 10, but my dad was like into aviation history. Like, he knows his planes, so he was kind of consulted on like the aircraft use, I believe, in the Phantom. I think that was the movie.
That's cool.
Yeah. So he was consulted a bit for like basically accuracy, essentially, or as accurate as possible. Yeah. So, all right. So the D20 dice.
Yeah, 1 to 10 or 11 to 20.
We'll go 11 to 20.
Nat 20.
Every other fucking time, your dice hates me when we're playing D&D, but for some reason,
No, it's only when you're fighting monsters. It's actually nice to you with other things.
Yeah,
it's monsters.
Because I nearly died from the Jersey Devil.
Yeah, and you got burned by a flame lizard thing once.
Yeah.
Swallowed by a giant toad twice. And then the duck bunnies, they were pretty peeved about them. They kept pecking you.
Well, in that case, it wasn't necessarily duck bunnies that nearly killed me. It was the fact that Nina did that fireball spell and nearly killed us that way.
Yeah, she said the blast radius was 30 feet, so you were safe. Turned out it was 180 feet.
Yeah, so no, we weren't safe.
No.
From what I know, he he enjoyed it, but I'd have to ask him. I know he's seen it. I know he's seen at least most of it. But anyway, so I did kind of a mix of classic and contemporary or contemporary-ish actresses to have like a relative mix. And I have two actresses that actually appeared in the Lord of the Rings films, but that wasn't really the reason why necessarily I entirely picked the two actresses. And number 10 is Miranda Otto. She played Eowyn in the Lord of the Rings films, but the reason why I picked her is because I actually recently saw a film called Talk to Me where she plays the mother, and I very much enjoyed her performance, and I felt like I kind of connected with how with her character in a sense, because I figured if I were a mother, that's exactly how I would be. And I've seen her in the remake of The Time Machine, and so forth, and other films, and she's shown, I believe she's like, an Australian actress, and she's shown that she has, I don't know what it is about actresses outside the United States, but they seem to demonstrate, at least current actresses, to have more range and acting ability than the American ones. I don't know what it is.
It's stage play and the fact that they actually have an education in acting before they start doing movies.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen Talk to Me, Stieg, I don't know if you can find it on like a streaming site of sorts, but it's a decent recent horror film. It's actually made in South Australia, and it's like the supernatural, possession, things like that.
Okay.
It's kind of a slow burn, but I appreciate that because it doesn't rely heavily on jump scares or anything like that. So it actually builds up on the tension. And like I said, Miranda Otto plays the mother, and she was actually her scenes, not all her scenes, but before the shit starts going down, she's kind of hilarious in how she handles her children. Pretty much, and I felt like that right there must be every Australian mother, and how she in her performance. I just got Alba, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Vivian Lee, Faye Ray. Hey, Cajun Corey. So, first movie I saw Faye Ray in was the King Kong film. She was essentially the Scream Queen. Tara Strong, yeah. Alright, so, but I first saw her as Eowyn in Lord of the Rings, and I felt like it's like she did that character, I would say, justice. Do they change them? Do they change some things? Yeah, they change some things right from the books to the movies, but at the same time, it's like I love how people on Twitter is like, oh, you have a problem with this, like whatever we criticize in Rings of Power when it comes to the female characters, but you had no problem with this, and they always inevitably show clip the scene of Eowyn from Return of the King slaying the Witch King.
Yeah, which is not lore breaking at all. It was actually in the book.
Yeah, and I actually tweeted it out, like to show the pages like where it is. Like that this right here, fucker, is the reason why we're not upset.
Yeah.
So
people are retarded.
Yeah. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name, but it's a Bollywood actor. She has an edge to her that I always like. Awesome. So one of my favorite films is a Bollywood movie of sorts, and that's Three Idiots. So I love that movie. But anyway, she made my 10 spots. Okay. Mainly because of the recent movie I'd seen with her in with Talk to Me.
Well, I have one that I think you might have on your list. I'm not sure. Michelle Pfeiffer.
No, she's not on my list. Like I said, it was narrowing this down to top 10, and I've seen movies from every decade.
Well, she's probably the best Catwoman that was ever on screen, I think. But she's always been rock solid, hasn't she?
Yeah.
If everyone goes, oh, yeah, she's pretty, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but she's also extremely talented,
Dan,
and she was also great as a witch in Stardust. She played the villain.
Oh, yep. She was one of the witches.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed that movie for the most parts. I'm not I normally don't like. I wouldn't say it's a romantic comedy, but more more like movies like that.
It was Princess Bride-ish.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it. And the brothers that
they were trying to and the dad laughing when one of them threw the other out the window.
Yeah, like that was like fucked up and funny at the same time.
Yeah. Anyway, Michelle Pfeiffer, very versatile as well, which is not everyone's versatile,
Mm-hmm.
So,
no. That's why I said it's like, especially current actresses, there's no versatility.
Yeah, and
there's no range.
She is probably a better actor than most of the actresses that I have, from 9 to 1 on the list. But a lot of them are on there due to nostalgia.
Yeah. All right. So that is our number 10s. Number 9.
Number 9, and this one was she was big in the 80s and then went away a bit and then did a little bit of a comeback lately. Jennifer Jason Leigh.
I think I've only seen her in Hudsucker Proxy.
She was in The Hitcher.
I'd have to go back and rewatch that because I remember. I think the first thing I saw her in was Hudsucker Proxy.
Yeah,
I believe she was in that.
She was also in recently. She was in The Hateful Eight.
I have yet to see that. I have not watched that Tarantino film.
It's fantastic. I loved it. It might be my favorite Tarantino movie, to be honest. And she was in Flesh and Blood with Rutger Hauer yet again. She was in 2 Hauer movies in a row. And like I said, also extremely versatile. And, insanely skillful. She's one of those actors that are, very skilled.
Mm-hmm.
And she can do all kinds of accents, I've noticed. Like it's nothing.
I'd have to watch it because I haven't really seen too many films with her in them. So she never really crossed my mind. Because I don't remember anything else other than Hustler Proxy. I'm pretty sure I have seen her in other stuff. I just don't remember. So, Trace's Hateful Eight is worth it.
Yeah, it is. It's a fucked up murder mystery almost.
So while I can sit. I don't care if the movie is long because I can sit through the extended editions of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
If it drags, then I'll notice the time. If
Picture it as
drag, then I'm fine. Because I'll give you also perspective. The movie I mentioned, Three Idiots, is long. But it doesn't drag. So you don't really realize you're sitting there for like over 3 hours.
Think of Hateful Eight as a very R-rated whodunit mystery.
Okay. Hey, Luke. All right. Okay. At some point, I will watch it. I'm hoping to watch some stuff this weekend, like I said, because it's Labor Day weekend, so it's kind of a holiday weekend, and where I can kind of relax. But yeah. Do you have anything more to say about Jennifer Jason Leigh?
No, she's great.
All right, my number 9 is a classic actress. Most likely, probably not really. I don't want to say she's not well known, but probably not well known unless you've seen Golden Age of Hollywood films and so forth. Because I grew up watching a film series called where the main character is called Topper, and like the first one is Topper, played by Roland Young, pretty much. And there's Topper Takes a Trip, and then there's Topper Returns. And that was the first movie I'd seen this actress in. And from there, basically progressed to seeing her just about every other film on TCM, and that is Joan Blondell. Thank you for being a member for 6 months, Luke. Good to see you again. Yeah, Bollywood movies are long in general, but they don't drag. That's why it's like I don't notice the time. Sorry, that's my text message going off. But anyway, Joan Blondell, very good comedic actress, like 30s, 40s. She had a rather long career. When she got older, tended to kind of like gravitate towards more serious roles because when she was younger, and like the old studio lot, there was like a lot of kind of romantic comedies and things like that. She had the one-liners, the quips, things like that, and so forth. And it always amazes me whenever people say, or talk about female actresses as if they were always they were always damsels in distress, shit like that in Golden Age of Hollywood, and that tells me that they've not watched any films from that time period, because you go back and watch these films, a lot of those actresses, like Joan Blondell, for example, held their own against their male counterparts. They gave as well as they took, pretty much. There was a good back and forth between the two. There was never really any battle of the sexes or anything, but they held their own. They actually had legitimate agency, right? They actually had talents, and Joan Blondell, on top of that, was one of the smartest actresses working at the time, pretty much. She was actually very intelligent. So even though she played certain roles, she was one of the smartest people working in Hollywood. And as much as I love Topper Returns, if you actually think about the plot, it doesn't make any sense. But I love her in it. I can't say too much about, do you want any spoilers about the movie? I'm not going to spoil who done it, but do you want any spoilers? Care about any spoilers from the movie?
Yeah, just it's fine by me.
All right, I was because I can't say this without revealing what happens to her character. But her character is killed, and for just about most of the movie, it's her ghost interacting with the Roland Young's character Topper, pretty much, because he can see the ghosts. No one else can, but he can see them because they appear to him. And there's a part where she's protecting her friend and this other guy basically as a ghost, and she basically is throwing punches at the killer. And it's I think one of the funniest scenes. So hey, the Oz, yeah, she's a good Public Enemy. Yeah, she is again range. All right, yeah. And I really don't fault her for certain her being typecast in any way during a certain period because that's what studios did. Studios were actually like the biggest culprits in typecasting during the start of Hollywood. Because like if you did well in a role, basically the studios just like picked what roles you could take and what you were given, essentially. Hey Tario. Katharine Hepburn, yeah, she's another good actress. She was nearly considered a box office poison. She was nearly considered that. She's almost considered box office poison before she kind of had a comeback of sorts. Yeah, because she's in one of my favorite. I don't gravitate to romantic comedies, but I love Bringing Up Baby. She's in that. It bombed at the box office, and that's why she was part of the reason why she was considered poison. But she had to come back.
She was great in The African Queen.
Yeah, I'm saying early in her career, or not necessarily early in her career, but like during part of her career, the film she was in bombed, and like studios were like hesitant to cast her. So. But yeah, she's great in African Queen. She's great in Bringing Up Baby. Philadelphia Story, even though I'm not a fan of the movie, she was really good in that as well. Right, so. And what was the film she was in with oh God. She's with Anthony Hopkins. Why am I blanking on the actor's name? Peter O'Toole, I believe. She's played the Queen. What movie was that? Yep, I have to look it up anyway. But like Joan Blondell made my number 9 just because of I grew up with like watching quite a bit of films with her starring in them. Rooster Cogburn and the Lady. Yep. Favorite Audrey movie was How to Steal a Million with Peter O'Toole. Yeah, Audrey Hepburn. So, no relation. Hey, Zacharias. But anyway, that's my number 9. So we are on number 10.
No, 8.
Or, sorry, 8. So I was like looking at Lady T. Hope you are doing well, Lady T. And hope you enjoy the replay. Yeah, so try not to work too hard. My number 8 is back to the contemporary-ish of sorts. And I included Diana Rigg. And the reason primarily that I added Diana Rigg to the list is because when I was growing up, my parents got me into watching the Avengers series. Not
Emma Peel.
Yeah, not Marvel's The Avengers series, but all right, but it's called The Avengers. Right, she played Emma Peel.
She was great on Game of Thrones too until they butchered her character.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but I think they butchered a lot of characters.
Yeah, all of them pretty much. But it wasn't because of her acting though. She nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, she is a very good actress. Yeah, it was a spy show. Yes, they're spies.
She played the only character to marry James Bond.
Yes, can't say what happens to her character, but yes, because that was the George Lazenby Bond.
Yep.
Yes.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yes. Yeah. So, and like, on top of acting, she had like, I don't think subtle is the right word, pretty much, but like there was like this like subtle sexuality in how she presented her, like, herself when she's like in her roles. That like it like wasn't exaggerated, it wasn't over the top or anything like that. But it would like make third, fourth wave feminists like have heart attacks, pretty much. Like Emma Peel, pretty much. Like her character was married, right? But she wasn't above, like, using her femininity, all right, her looks and so forth, to her advantage. She's in a way, she's kind of like Black Widow in that regard, minus the assassin aspect of the character, essentially. But in a And the way she was like Black Widow, like wasn't afraid, or, like didn't like, shy away from using her feminine wiles, so to speak, in certain situations. But at the same time, she was a badass. She could fight.
She would be an excellent Twitch thought today.
Nah. Don't do that to Diana Rigg.
Because they're married too, right? Look, I'm just gonna bounce my chest a bit while I.
Yeah, but Diana Rigg was still sophisticated. She wouldn't stoop that far.
Oh yeah, I know.
So, but there was like a sophistication, like sexual, and badass all in one. And that's Diana Rigg pretty much. And I like loved her also in The Great Muppet Caper. Have you seen that, Steve?
No.
Do you know the Muppets?
Yes.
Okay. I actually think you would like The Great Muppet Caper. She's in it. She's in it. And it's pretty, and in my opinion, it's pretty damn funny.
That means I'm not going to like it. That always happens when you recommend comedies. I don't like them. I like any other genre you recommend, but not comedies.
Well, it's like the thing is like it's like not over the top humor or anything like that. Like you actually have to pay attention to the dialogue and stuff. And Jim Henson actually has a cameo in it. So.
Well, it's true, Trey. Mara can confirm it at any day of the week. If she recommends me comedies, I don't like them. I don't hate them.
You're weird.
Usually,
You're weird with your rating system.
No.
Yes, you are. Anyway. But she's my number 8, Diana Rigg.
Okay. My number 8 is kind of a newer actress. Lena Headey.
Okay.
Sarah Connor Chronicles. Played Sarah Connor. And the villain in Dread. And
I know her primarily from 300.
Yeah, she was great in that one too. And great on Game of Thrones, played Cersei Lannister. Like I said, incredible range, and she never seems to get the credits or the awards or anything like that, even though she tends to be better than everyone else. Yeah, Trey, she nailed the Sarah Connor role. I mean, if you want a real sequel to Terminator 2, watch that show, really. Not the new movie where they kill off John Connor immediately. But yeah, Lena Headey. I mean, assuming you watched Dread.
It was a while ago, so I had to go back and watch it. But yeah, she was what's her name, Mama?
Yeah.
What she called? Yeah.
Yeah. Plays a psycho quite well, doesn't she? Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
This question is directed at you. That's why I have it up.
No, I hate it.
Yeah.
I truly hate it, especially Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, he doesn't like Matthew Broderick.
No.
Sarah? Yep. So, but yeah, I know, I only seen her in the couple, like basically the couple things, but like completely different characters to the point where it's again. I'm not saying that there is no American actress that has range, but they're few and far between. But Lena Headey is one of the ones that has demonstrated range, like genuine range with her roles, because she can go from playing Queen Gorgo in 300 to Psycho Bitch in Dread.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm pretty sure if she had been acting in the 50s and 60s, she would have been a huge name.
Mm-hmm. No, we can't kick him from the stream. He has to give his rest of his top 10.
Yeah. Kick me afterwards.
Yeah. So.
And I mean, the shit I've said on these streams, though, if I didn't get kicked before, this was pretty much mild. This isn't even a misdemeanor.
No, he said worse.
Yes.
Like he's actually turned the chat against him with his opinions.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Yeah. So, but So now we're on number 7.
Yeah. Number 7, I have Kathy Bates.
All right. Yep.
Another one who is fantastic. Kind of like Lena Headey. She can play good people and psychos all over the place. I mean, you've seen Misery, right?
Yes.
And another one that doesn't get enough credit, I think, because in my opinion, she's a 10 out of 10. Big Trouble in Little China is overrated, Mr. Bentham. It's not terrible.
You see Mr. Bentham, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, and the Fifth Element is shit. Sorry, but it is. It's cartoony crap, especially that singing lady.
That was actually the director's wife before he had before he had an affair with why am I blanking on the fucking actress who plays Leela?
Mila Jovovich?
Yeah, Mila Jovovich. Yeah, that like the alien lady was like the director or producer, whatever it was, like the wife.
Mm.
And like he had an affair with Mia. And they're still married to this day, but it was the result of an affair.
Made a big bada boom.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, Kathy Bates, my number 7. Never gets enough credit, I think.
So, she was good in the American Horror Story series, the season she was in.
Jessica Lange was great in that too.
She was especially in the thirds. I mean, I know people I'm not exactly fans of the Coven season, the third season with the witches, but Jessica Lange was incredible in that season. So, she made that season. If Jessica Lange didn't put the performance in that she did, no matter how good Kathy Bates was, that season would have sucked.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Kathy Bates has been in a few stinkers as well, but they haven't stunk because of her.
No, I'm saying it's sometimes just because a movie's bad, it doesn't mean the acting's bad. Pretty much because the actor or actress can only do so much.
Yeah.
They can only do so much half the time. If the director says cut, print, what's the actor and actress going to do? Force them to film the scene again?
Yeah.
Can't exactly do that. So, or force them to film the entire movie again? Can't do that. So, all right. So my number 7 is back to the classic actress, classic golden age of Hollywood, essentially time period, and that is Paulette Goddard. And I picked her also because she's kind of I would say probably best known for playing more girl next door type characters. Right. She did have range, but she was better known as that type of role. And she was in a movie I very much enjoy, a Bob Hope film called The Ghostbreakers. So she played basically opposite Bob Hope in The Ghostbreakers. And I think it was because she used to date Charlie Chaplin. I can't remember if she was married to him or not, but she used to date Charlie Chaplin. And I think she did, and she did 2 movies with Bob Hope that I know on the top of my head that I know, and that is one, Cat and the Canary, which has some funny lines in it from Bob Hope.
You know what would be fun if she broke up with Charlie Chaplin because he never said anything.
So
just
Charlie Chaplin,
miming.
Actually, Charlie Chaplin was a very good serious actor as well.
Yeah, he was.
Because I was just watching a movie not too long ago. He was in it. It was one of his later roles. Pretty depressing film, but Charlie Chaplin is excellent in it. He's incredible in it. But yeah, so because she had actually done some silent films with Charlie Chaplin. So that's where they met, and she was younger than he was. He tended to go for the younger women. Yeah, and so it's introduced Bob Hope to Charlie Chaplin because Charlie Chaplin had watched what's called the rushes for Cat and the Canary and actually complimented Bob Hope. And at the time, that would have been a big deal essentially because Charlie Chaplin was a big name, and Bob Hope was basically just breaking out into film roles from stage. And so they did Cat and the and Bob Hope did Cat and the Canary together, and they did Ghostbreakers. And I like I said, I picked those picked her because those are two movies that if they're on, primarily the Ghostbreakers. If it's on, I'm sitting down to watch it because I liked the basically the dynamic between her and Bob Hope in the film, and it deals with a supernatural of sorts as well as a mystery. So it's one of those types of movies. So I'm not saying you would enjoy it, Stig, but if you can find it might be something like a lighthearted movie for you to watch.
Well,
yes, that is a movie where there is a line. It's one of the funniest lines I've heard in films, pretty much, where this other character played by I can't remember the actor's name, but the actor. Hold on, I gotta look him up because the actor in the scene that Bob Hope is talking to is also is a good actor. He's often overlooked because he was never really a big name. He was never really a big name, but he had one of those memories where he could remember every one of his lines. He could read the script and remember every one of his lines and recite them easily. And I can't remember his name. Richard Carlson. Yeah, so basically it's Paula Goddard, Bob Hope, and Richard Carlson in the scene, and Richard Carlson's character is describing zombies to the other two. And he's and he ends it with not knowing who they are, not caring. And Bob Hope is you mean Democrats? Yeah, so you might like it just for that line alone, pretty much. But yeah, Bob Hope does compare Democrats to zombies in that film, in Ghostbreakers.
Except Democrats don't want brains.
Well, now they don't. But yeah, Bob Hope, I love that line because it's it feels like it was ad-libbed, but it works really well with the dialogue. So it's one of the best lines in film history. But this is when Democrats actually could think. So I don't have anything against Democrats. I have things against leftists because they've basically commandeered the Democrat Party. So, and yeah, so I added Paula Goddard because of that movie, The Ghostbreakers. So you might be able to find it, Stieg. It's not Stieg. Well, Stieg, yeah, but Trey as well. It's from what year is it? Oh, come on.
Well, I have a site.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's from 1940. Yeah. So I'm not sure if the site, what movies are on the site because it's from 1940.
Oh, pretty much all of them.
No, this was before JFK era Democrats. This was this is around the time of FDR Democrats. Because this film was in 1940 and it's basically in what say FDR's third term, going into his third term. So yeah, that was that era of Democrats. So, but yeah, so Paula Goddard for primary reason of Ghostbreakers, the Ghostbreakers. So, but yeah, so that is my number 7. Now we're on number 6.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Yeah, sorry, I had to take a swig of water. So my number 6 is another actress that appeared in the Lord of the Rings films. Cate Blanchett.
Solid.
Yes. Included her primarily because of the Lord of the Rings films and how she embodied Galadriel. Something back again. Lena Headey.
She was great in the Hobbit movies too.
Mm-hmm. The Hobbit films were not good, but she was good as Galadriel. So, and again, range. Like, you know, like I know I keep dropping that word, but I was like also watching a movie that my sister had on. It was one of Cate Blanchett's earlier films where she's I gotta find the title because I can't remember it. It was just on, and I was watching because it had Keanu Reeves in it.
Oh, is it the one where she's a psychic?
Yeah, where she's a psychic.
Yeah.
And if y'all haven't seen that movie, it's like really good.
It's a slightly supernatural thriller.
Yes. Like you wouldn't think it, like, you know, basically going into the film, but it turns into that. Yeah, I think it's the Gift. That's what the title is, The Gift. Yeah, and she made Thor Ragnarok tolerable for most people, pretty much, and demonstrated that, like, she was just as sexy as a brunette and then as a blonde, pretty much. Kind of like, so.
She was
kind
great.
Kind of like Jennifer Aniston.
She was great in the Elizabeth movies as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. And she was in like a film that came out recently that I kind of want to see, because there was a scene that I watched, and like the character she plays is what's it called? Let me see if it's Tar. It's called Tar, and she plays a composer. And there's a scene where she berates this one student, and in a sense, kind of skewers political correctness and that bullshit when she's berating him. Yeah, The Missing is also good. Yeah, the movie. She's not a teacher; she's a composer. But yeah, it's like that film that just came out like a year or so ago, which I have not had a chance to watch, but that's what it's called. And like, if anything, find that scene and watch it. She's really good in it. So like, the character itself is like not exactly someone you would necessarily, I would say, root for. But she put, like, you know, from what I've seen, she puts in like a hell of a performance. So, but yeah, so number 6 is Cate Blanchett. Yep.
Well, my number 6 is she has a knack for being in all kinds of entertaining stuff. So some actors have that. Sandra Bullock.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much kicked off in the 90s with I guess Speed and Demolition Man. Kind of put her on the map for most people.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. And heck, I even like Miss Congeniality. Thought that was fun.
Oh my god. I don't know how many people can get the Marty McFly thing. Robin Williams, Brie Larson. Oh my god, Nasmer. What's up, Nasmer?
Anyway. Sandra Bullock, solid. I don't think I watched any movies with her in it that I didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, I never watched any movies with her that I hated. Would probably be more accurate. Just, you know, solid, almost like a popcorn flick actress, isn't she?
I mean, I haven't really seen her in anything recently, but for the most part, at least for a stretch of her career, I would say yeah. Like the popcorn films type actress. But at the same time, again, like, you know, not holding that against her, essentially. Like, she was really good.
Yeah, she's a very good actress. She's not fantastic.
Yeah.
But she's good and has probably has a good agent because she tends to be in entertaining stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm. I remember Miss Congeniality.
Yeah. That one was fun.
Mm-hmm. I loved
No.
Michael Caine in it primarily. Like, I loved Sandra Bullock's character, but I loved Michael Caine.
Yeah. Yeah, I see Trey mentioning Gravity.
Mhm.
Well, she was alone in space, so she didn't. It's probably hard to play because she's not playing up against anyone except the
Yeah.
ghost of George Clooney at one point.
Mm.
But I kind of liked that movie, but it was an hour and a half of I just managed to grab this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I've heard of Helen Mirren. I love Helen. Like, she didn't make my list because I had to narrow it down in top 10. But Helen Mirren she is something.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yes. So I recently
okay.
watched her in the Red films,
Oh, those are great.
and yeah, like I loved her character in them.
John Malkovich stole the show in those.
Oh, the one that was like had been on drugs, so he was the crazy one,
Yeah.
but he was actually aware.
Yeah.
Like actually
anyway,
genuinely aware, like genuinely woke, not the bullshit woke that we see on Twitter.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, Sandra Bullock, what's not to like? She doesn't seem to be crazy either, as far as Hollywood people go.
well, let's put it this way: she doesn't. I'm pretty sure I would be pretty confident to say that her political leanings mirror that of the left in Hollywood, but she's at least smart enough to not be incredibly vocal about it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Which I'm fine with. I don't care. I don't care if she's left of center or anything like that. She's at least not like crazy vocal about it.
yeah, just stick to acting and shut up.
Yeah.
Talk about the movies.
Aim Megatron is number 1, yes. Yeah, Red 1 and 2 would be good 1s and 2s at some point. I'll have to remind me at the end of the stream, Warren Chat, if you're still in the chat, because I have an idea for the 1s and 2s for November. All right, but anyway. Yeah. So those are our number 6s, right?
Yeah.
And we're on number 5.
Yeah, and it's my turn.
Yes.
Well, this is not the best actress that ever lived, but she was huge in the 80s and 90s. And I grew up with her. Sharon Stone.
Who didn't?
What?
I said, who didn't grow up with her, basically.
Yeah. Also had a knack for being in entertaining stuff, really. Because back in the 80s, you had the Indiana Jones craze.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in the 2 Quartermain movies with Richard Chamberlain. It was based on old books, King Solomon's Mines, and the Lost City of Gold, I think, was the second one. So it's basically her and Richard Chamberlain on a Indiana Jones adventure duology.
Mm-hmm.
And Basic Instinct, which left nothing to the imagination when you're in puberty. And Total Recall.
Oh my God, gravy, yes.
And one of my favorite westerns, The Quick and the Dead. She was great in that one, to be honest. But yeah, Sharon Stone,
Mm-hmm.
lots of fun movies I keep rewatching, has her in it. I think she was in one of the Police Academy movies as well.
Which one?
It might have been, it's 4 or 5. She plays a reporter. She's not one of the recruits.
Oh yeah, it would be 4 because 4 is Citizens on Patrol, and there's a reporter character, so it would be 4.
It isn't.
4 is Citizens on Patrol.
I thought that was second.
No, second is that's not the second one. You want to bet?
Yeah.
It got quiet. Okay, look up the Police Academy movies. Citizens on Patrol is number 4.
I thought it was the second because that's when they. Oh, it probably is 4, actually. Yeah, I think you're right. That's off. I agreed with you before I checked. Yeah, it is Citizens on Patrol.
I know that one, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had the skateboarders at the beginning, which included
Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
And he's also in Thrashin'.
Yes. So
which is one of the best 80s movies ever made.
Yes. Yeah, she was the reporter.
Yeah. And she was in a slasher too. I can't remember what it was called. And the fantastic Action Jackson with Carl Weathers.
I'm shaking my head at Megatron.
Brie Larson was good in the King Kong movie, Skull Island. She wasn't bad in that.
She's just insufferable in real life.
Yeah. She's a twat.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sharon Stone.
Don't forget he's on the metric system. True, Greg. How are you doing? So yeah, all right. So my number 5, because I'm basically switching off between, golden age of Hollywood classic actress and contemporary-ish actresses. And my number 5 is an actress her name is Ida Lupino. Probably not as well known as other golden age of Hollywood actresses at the time, but she was one of the best actresses working at the time. And seeing if no one is this is not the movie I was thinking of earlier, but I would recommend watching High Sierra. It's another Bogart film, I believe. And that's Ida Lupino. Okay, Ida Lupino in it. And I was going to mention that, says Ronan, yes. She was again, when people complaining about actresses and trying to claim that they were limited or anything like that in Hollywood until the magic year of 2016 bullshit reasons that they give pretty much. I always bring up Ida Lupino. Ida Lupino was one of the first female actresses who successfully transitioned from actress to director. She actually fought and demonstrated true agency and became one of the best directors working in Hollywood. Did a lot of TV, did movies and things like that. So she went from actress to director. Right? And again, she was also, like Joan Blondell, incredibly intelligent. Demonstrated incredible range in the roles that she was given and so forth. She could again hold her own against her male counterparts easily. Hold her own against her, and I'm not saying that they were against each other. I'm talking about in terms of the characters. Right? She was able to stand on her own feet, but alongside her male co-stars, and then became one of the first female directors in Hollywood, well before the likes of Catherine Bigelow. No offense to Catherine Bigelow, but well before the likes of Catherine Bigelow. She literally was one of the instrumental factors in paving the way for women directors. So people who make those stupid claims now, I'm you obviously do not know about. And I list off these actresses, and Ida Lupino is one of them. So if you have not seen Ida Lupino, High Sierra, Stig, it's one of the movies I would recommend to you, on top of another movie I'm going to recommend to you.
Well, it's I have it. I have actually gotten it before you recommended it last time when we spoke of Bogart.
I don't think I mentioned High Sierra. I was talking about Treasure of Sierra Madre, but both have Sierra in the title pretty much. But both are Bogart films.
Well, I do have them.
Yeah.
And it's on my list of something. Usually I tend to watch I binge 4 movies in a genre, kind of, So I think I did 4 Bogart movies a while ago, and probably gonna do 4 from that time in not too long, and it's gonna have that one in it. So.
Yeah. So one of them, a movie that I would recommend, which, like I said, not only stars Humphrey Bogart, but also stars the actress on my list, Ida Lupino. So, yeah. There it is. Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol. But yeah, so that's what part of the reason why I included her on the list is not only because of her acting abilities, but because she actually paved the way for basically women in general working in Hollywood. So especially going from a studio system where you were pretty much owned by the studio to actually having your own agency and taking what would be considerably considered a male job and being a director. She did it and demonstrated it, like, not because she was a woman, but because she had the capability to do so. So she was the first. Yeah, so that's okay. She's my number 5. And Trey says he enjoyed Treasure of Sierra Madre. It is very good.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Maybe a slightly long-winded, but good.
Mm-hmm. So, I liked Walter Houston in it. John Huston's father. He played the old man.
Oh yeah, he was great.
Yeah. Have you seen Maltese Falcon?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember the man who brought the Falcon and then died in Bogart's office?
Yeah.
That was Walter Houston. And he actually got it on the first take. But his son, John, decided to mess with him and say that they, something happened with the footage. They weren't able to use it, so they had to keep filming it again until he got it right. But, like he said, they still had the footage from the first take. He just wanted to hassle his dad, pretty much. Trey says, I accept black and white movies being slow pacing. Wasn't a focus like it is now. So, yeah. Badges? We don't need no stinking badges. Yes. Gillian Anderson, yep. Alright, so we're on number 4. So my number 4, contemporary-ish of sorts. Right. But again, it's one of those, tell me you haven't seen too many movies without telling me you haven't seen too many movies when you make stupid claims on Twitter. Pam Grier.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yes. Like, you really cannot overlook Pam Grier. I'm like, Amazon, Foxy Brown, ladies and gentlemen. So
the Ghosts of Morris.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Statham.
He still has, sex appeal.
Yeah, she looks great.
Mm-hmm. And she, again, kind of like Diana Rigg, especially, like combination badass and sex appeal. It's like people will talk, especially the SJWs on Twitter, as if those two are mutually exclusive. They're not. And Pam Grier demonstrated that easily. Jackie Brown. Yes, the films fell into the blaxploitation genre of films, but at the same time, it's like, who fucking cares?
Yeah, you can still have good acting in them.
Yeah. So she's in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Yep. So, and she was one of my favorite actresses. Still incredibly good looking. Yeah, I know, I hate that name too, but it falls into that category. So again, if you look at all the roles she's been in, there's maybe movies that fall into the same type of acting, but she can go from one type, right, to another, so forth, and it still be believable.
She was in Escape from LA as well.
Yeah. Oh my God, Megatron. Yeah, she's not had a bad performance. The movies themselves might be something left to be desired, again, but she herself, everything I've seen her in, she gives a good performance. She does not phone it in, and she's still believable as a badass. Whatever role she's in. Especially in her earlier roles. And again, incredibly good looking. Sharon Stone number 4. Yeah. But yeah, I had to include Pam Grier. Because I had to include one of the quintessential female action stars in Hollywood. Well before 2016. But yeah, she's my number 4, Pam Grier.
Well, my number 4 is one that was supposedly really hard to work with. Faye Dunaway, who is an incredible actress.
Mm-hmm.
Huge in the late 60s and up until 1980. She was massive.
Did Faye Dunaway play in Mommy Dearest?
Yes.
Yeah.
She played the mom.
Well, that was
really?
I'm like so fucking tired. I'm blanking on this actress's name, but this actress and the other actress on my list hated each other. They were both in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Yeah, it was one of the Hepburns.
No, not the Hepburns. No. What it wasn't one of the Hepburns.
Well, Betty Davis hated her. She could not stand Faye Dunaway. There's a clip on YouTube where she's ripping into her.
Well, Betty Davis generally did not like, but no wire hangers ever. Yes. But the actress she was portraying, Joan Crawford. Thank you, Grammar. Thank you, Joan Crawford. That's the actress that she was portraying, I believe, in that film, Mommy Dearest. And Betty Davis and Joan Crawford hated each other, like absolutely hated each other. And
then she hates Faye Dunaway, who plays
Joan Crawford.
Yeah.
And if you read like Betty Davis and Joan Crawford's bios, like particularly their early years, you would think that they would have gotten along because they had so much in common, but they were basically two alpha personalities, so they hated each other. Absolutely hated each other, and to the point where when Joan Crawford died, Betty Davis is quoted as saying, "My mom told me to never say anything about anyone unless you could say something good. Joan Crawford died. Good." She said that. That's how much she hated the woman.
Yeah, that's a true hatred.
Yeah, I'm saying when I say when I'm not dropping that word lightly, they despised each other. So when you saw them kind of being savage, towards one another, and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, that's actual animosity coming out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is hate. And
Anyway, Faye Dunaway.
Yes.
Recently watched Bonnie and Clyde for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
She was fantastic in that one.
Yes, she's a fantastic actress. She was very good in Mommy Dearest.
Oh yeah, that movie bombed, but it's gotten more praise later on.
Mm-hmm. It showed that feud.
Yeah, and
did we need to reuse that? Go ahead. I mean, I'm sure Betty Davis will be fine with it. She's no longer alive.
And she was also the best Milady in a Musketeer movie.
Mm-hmm.
She was in the Three Musketeers and the Four Musketeers from 73 and 74. She nailed it. She was in a Towering Inferno, I think, with a bunch of with Steve McQueen, Paul Newman was in it, I think. It was a huge cast. The Eyes of Laura Morse by Irvin Kershner, who for some reason got him the Empire Strikes Back job.
Mm-hmm.
I figured that one out. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway,
Houston is related. She's John Huston's daughter. So basically, that's an acting family right there.
Yeah, but apparently Faye Dunaway was very hard to work with. Obsessed with lighting and being shown as younger as she got older in movies, and
it's a level of vanity. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So probably not a. Well, it doesn't mean she's a bad person. I mean, she has a very annoying quirk.
Yes.
But still, probably acting skill wise, she's probably a 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. She is very good. Whatever role, she again. actual
She played
talent versus like what we have today, pretty much.
She played a highway woman in one as well. I think it's called The Wicked Lady.
Mm-hmm.
She basically robs wagons and stuff. I think it's in England during the 1500s or something. She's using a pistol and a rapier and stuff. Kind of cool. Not the best movie ever made, but
Mm-hmm. Can you
Not
imagine
something-
the speech between Betty Davis and Joan Crawford? That'd be
Oh.
a Twitter war.
that would have,
Have
yeah.
you seen whatever happened to Baby Jane?
No,
You should.
I saw the other one with she told me to watch the Queen Bee Syndrome movie.
Oh, the All About Eve.
Yeah, that one was great.
Yes. That's another one, Trey. If you have not watched it, All About Eve, very good Betty Davis film. But whatever happened to Baby Jane is also it's. I don't like it's one of those movies where it's like I don't want to say too much about it. But I think it's dark in a way. But I can't say too much about it because there's like certain things that happen, especially near the end of the film, which is like if you're paying attention to the leads and what's happening to their characters, it's fascinating. So it's kind of like one of those like psychological movies.
Oh, those can be good.
Well, they're great performances, but I don't want to say too much about the movie. But both performances by Betty Davis and Joan Crawford in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, like basically fantastic. The movie itself is all around great in my opinion, but the performances are what you have to like focus on, and what happens with the characters. So, yeah. So that's our number 4, right?
Yeah, and I was supposed to do 3.
Yes. While you're starting your number 3, I'm gonna let my dog out of my room. So.
Okay, I'll chat with the chat. Yes, correct, Tris. They would have a massive Twitter beef. Holy crap! It would probably Twitter would be worth it for that, wouldn't it?
Did you go into your number 3?
The Thomas Crown Affair.
Mhm.
I've been meaning to watch the original. Oh, and Faye Dunaway was also in Chinatown, wasn't she?
Yes. Did you start your number 3?
No.
I said like start your number 3 while I let my dog out.
Yeah, I was being polite and waited for the lady.
Okay.
Anyway, number 3, it was Gillian Anderson.
Okay.
Dana Scully. That's it. That's the reason. X-Files. It's probably my favorite show, and she was in more episodes than Mulder was. So whenever people, oh yeah, we didn't have strong female leads until 2016. Well, Scully.
Yeah, 2016 is like a magic number to these assholes. Then you're Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor. That's it. Yeah. Barbara Stanwyck was actually my one grandmother's favorite actress.
Gillian Anderson does an American accent all through the show, but she's English.
Mm-hmm.
So another case of non-Americans having extra skills, right?
Yeah.
David Duchovny did not get fired from the X-Files. He took a break, basically. He wanted to do movies. Then he came back again near the final seasons. Robert Patrick took over as the male lead for a few seasons.
AKA the T-1000.
Yeah. He was great on the X-Files.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he was.
Yeah, like I said, like when we did the 1s and 2s for Terminator, he's an underrated actor.
Yeah, he screwed up with. He spent all of his earnings on Terminator 2 on drugs, I think it was. So he's been dead honest about it.
Mm-hmm. Which I actually appreciate.
Yeah.
You don't get that much of that. Like it's kind of like the James Remar being honest about why he was kicked from Aliens.
Yeah.
He got busted for drugs. And
Yeah.
he was honest about it.
Didn't blame anyone else. Didn't
Nope.
sue anyone or anything.
Nope.
Didn't
He's like,
blame
"No,
the
it's on me."
fans.
Yeah, he said it was on me. I got busted for drugs.
Yep. But yeah, Gillian Anderson, you like cryptids and stuff. Why don't you watch X-Files?
I'm nearly done with Criminal Intent. I didn't want to start any shows at the same time. I wanted to like get through Law and Order Criminal Intent, and I'm on the last season. All right, I'm on the last season. I'm gonna start another show or something. So bear with me, I'm nearly done.
X-Files and Twin Peaks, very important. They're right up your alley. I mean, Twin Peaks has Kyle MacLachlan doing his best role ever.
I just primarily know him from Dune. Primarily, not solely, but primarily from Dune.
Yeah, well, he does a 10
I
out of 10.
I didn't say I never watched X-Files. I watched some episodes. I never got into it. I know X-Files, Gravy. Give me a little credit.
I don't know. I'll give you. I'll chalk that up as a 50-50.
I at least know that Citizens on Patrol is Police Academy 4.
I keep mixing it up with 2. I've always done it.
All right. Anyway. All right. So.
And I realized it before I looked it up.
Yeah, you just didn't want to bet me.
Yeah.
So you figured like I'll be safe and agree with her.
No. I actually I was brainstorming.
Okay.
And I realized, yeah, that's the one I keep mixing up.
All right. So that's your number 3. Oh, yeah, he was in the Flintstones movie. Yeah, right. I blocked that out of my mind. But yeah, he was in the Flintstones movie.
And Blue Velvet.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that one?
Years ago, I want to say, but I can't quite remember it.
Yeah, psychological thriller. Excellently done. Dennis Hopper is insane in it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Gillian Anderson, Scully.
There you go. All right.
She's on my, my celebrity bang list. If I ever run into her, she is allowed to bang me.
I could have gone to sleep tonight not knowing that, but there you go. I'm glad. I'm sure she appreciates you giving her your permission to bang you.
Yeah. Well, she should always ask for permission. Come on. It's polite. See, Trey Courtney, yeah. Well, I'm not going to bang her if you banged her first, Trey.
Oh, my God.
We'll have to see who gets. We have to see who gets to her first, or who she gets to first, rather.
May I go into my number 3?
Yes.
All right. My number 3 is actually an actress that I just talked about, and that is Bette Davis.
I knew she was going to be on.
Yeah. While not, yes, because she's on the thumbnail. While not conventionally attractive or anything, she is one of the best actresses that ever worked in Hollywood. She was part of gangster type films in the 30s, and then she basically transitioned to more serious roles in the 40s and the 50s. She was actually in a movie that's, again, I can't say too much about the film without talking about the ending, the reason why. Hey, Phil. Mrs. Skeffington, where she starred alongside Claude Rains, and she's not a person you would actually like. You really don't like her character. You really don't like her character, but somehow it kind of comes back to the beginning of sorts, in a way, pretty much. And she plays a very vain character. But the movie that I would recommend to you, Stig, to watch with Bette Davis in it, is The Letter. So it is based on a play by Somerset Maugham. It's not entirely accurate to the play, but it is incredibly good. All right. Bette Davis plays the main character. And the film literally begins. literally begin. It doesn't spoil anything, but it literally begins with her shooting a man, and she's tried for killing him. And her claim, throughout like most of the movie, is that like she shot in self-defense. All right. Again, I don't want to say too much about the film, but James Stevenson plays the lawyer who's hired to defend her. Herbert Marshall plays her husband. They I can't remember exactly where they're located, but they're on a plantation, like outside, like basically outside the United States. It's like a tropical location of sorts. Victor Sun Young plays a really good Weasley character in the small part that he's in. And it's during the stage in Hollywood where it's I can't say too much because it'll give things away.
I
think you would like it. It's a mystery of sorts, but then it's like also kind of psychological. It's based on a play.
I have to address the chat a bit. Triss, no, I'm not going to have a threesome with Trey and Gillian Anderson. First off, I don't. There's one dick too many, and secondly, he's black. His dick is probably bigger than mine, which means I'll feel inferior, unless he's short, because then it would be canceled out by height, right? Proportions. But yeah, no, I'm not having a threesome with Trey and Gillian Anderson. No, I want her for myself. He can have her afterwards, though, but I won't have her if he's done her first.
Does that answer your question, Triss? What is happening, Trey, is that Stieg doesn't want to feel inadequate.
Well, if he's short, it doesn't, then it'll cancel out.
Tommy Doyle, I don't really want to go into what you just walked into, but it involves Gillian Anderson and Stieg's bang list.
Well, she's one on my bang list, but
which you'll give her permission, yes.
Yeah, well,
to bang you.
Yeah, she has the permission to put me on her bang list, basically. I'd be fine with it. But I'm not going to chase her down. I'm too lazy.
That's what you walked into, Tommy.
Anyway.
This is supposed to be our discussion on top 10 actresses, and it kind of like devolved and in part into Stieg's bang list and Gillian Anderson being on it. Yes.
No, basically she's allowed to put me on hers.
Trey's like, I got nothing. All right, but again, Bette Davis is my number 3. I would recommend you finding the letter. So, I love the movie. It's a mystery. It's psychological. You might like it.
No, I didn't go.
Hey, Tara.
It was Triss who suggested I should have a threesome with Gillian Anderson and Trey.
Yes,
which isn't happening.
It's just a top 10, and Stieg had to address the threesome comment.
You're not going to eat a sandwich if someone else fucked it before, will you?
Okay, first off, my concern would not be whether or not I'm going to eat the sandwich after someone fucked it. My concern would be the fact that the person fucked it.
Exactly.
Not the same thing.
She would lose her sex appeal if Trey fucked her before me.
Are you comparing her to a sandwich?
Yeah. It would be a sandwich if it's a threesome, wouldn't it? Anyway,
I have no words, chat.
I'm just being honest and open. What's wrong about that? Women like open men.
I'm not going to say anything to that.
Yeah, Sean, I wouldn't eat a fucked sandwich even if they cleaned it under the shower hose. No.
Gravy, it depends on what kind of sandwich, according to Gravy, pretty much, but that's what this conversation devolved into because Stieg had to respond to Triss's comment.
Yes. I pay attention to the chat.
Can we talk about
Betty
list-
Davis.
Well, I mean, I that's it. Pretty much, that's it. Betty Davis is my number 3 on my top 10 actresses, and the movie I recommend to you is The Letter.
Yeah, I just explained it to Tommy Doyle.
Tommy, if you really want to know, watch the replay, key it up to about this time. Pretty much, you'll understand. But
Yeah.
I would think it best just not worry about it. Just leave it as
Yeah,
Stig being Stig.
It's not going to affect your life one way or another.
Anyway. All right. Okay, our number 2. Okay, we're on number 2. It's my turn. Okay. There was no way that I could have a top 10 actress list and not include Sigourney Weaver.
She's my number 2 as well.
Yeah, so
I'll let you talk about Weaver.
So, like, there's like pretty much the Alien franchise. Don't want to say like that's it necessarily. Don't want to say that like that's it.
Ghostbusters and Copycat.
Yeah,
as well.
but there's like those are big things. The big reason why. And guess who my number 1 is? Citizen Ronan. But yeah, Copycat is actually overlooked.
It is.
I actually very much enjoyed Copycat.
She almost died in it.
Yes.
The hanging scene, the safety harness thing didn't work, so she's actually getting hanged in it.
Mm-hmm.
The director was just, let's keep filming.
I will say, Citizen Ronan or Charlie, the director's cut of Alien 3. And yes, I will. So I would still include Alien 3, but I'm saying Alien and Aliens, the Ghostbusters films, Galaxy Quest, Copycat. The movie itself wasn't that good, but she was good in Heartbreakers.
The one with the gorillas.
About
she played Diane Fossey.
Gorillas in the Mist.
Yes, that one
she
was
was good.
really good.
Nice. Yes. Very good. So there's no way I could include a top 10 actress list and not include Sigourney Weaver. Like, there was no way that I could do that, pretty much. Like, she was, again, range. She actually ad-libbed some of her, like, you know, at least one of her lines, but maybe some, like, more in Ghostbusters, so she had good comedic timing. Was a badass, serious actor. All right, so she was like the role of Ripley was actually originally written to be a male character, but she impressed she impressed in her audition so much that they actually changed it to a female character, and hence Ellen Ripley was born.
The basketball toss in Alien 4.
Mm-hmm.
She actually did it.
Yeah,
when she throws the basketball over behind her head.
And I love her comedic timing in Galaxy Quest. Like she's very good. The movies themselves, I might not like. I think Avatar is incredibly fucking overrated.
It is.
But I will admit she's good in her role. All right.
Yeah.
The movie itself, I don't like, but she's good. But there it is. Like, she's my number 2, Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, my number 2 as well.
Yes. So now down to our number 1. So before we go into our number 1s, I'm going to go from my 10 to number 2. Steve's going to go from his 10 to number 2, and then we'll go into who our number 1 actresses is. So from number 10, Miranda Otto, Joan Blondell, Diana Rigg, Paula Goddard, Kate Blanchett, Ida Lupino, Pam Grier, Betty Davis, and Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, I have Michelle Pfeiffer, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Lena Headey, Kathy Bates, Sandra Bullock, Sharon Stone, Faye Dunaway, Gillian Anderson, and Sigourney Weaver.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's our number 1. So, see, which is your number 1 actress?
Eva Green.
I actually did not think about her, but she is actually very good.
Yeah, she is. She pretty much makes the second 300 movie good because she nails it. She steals the whole damn show, playing the villain, and does the action scenes quite well too. Probably one of the best acted Bond girls in that. She was in Casino Royale.
Mm-hmm. Isn't she French?
I think she's born in France, but she's grown up in England.
Okay.
And Penny Dreadful, which you need to watch, by the way. It's classic horror. Has werewolves and vampires. I think Dracula's in it too. It's her and Timothy Dalton and Josh Hartnett.
I love Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, it takes place in the late 1800s, and her character gets possessed, and she tops The Exorcist with her performance. I'm not even kidding.
She was also in the Tim Burton's Dark Shadows. I think she's probably the best part in Dark Shadows.
Yeah, and she was in a King Arthur show that got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
She played Morgan Le Fay. Nailed it. 10 out of 10 there as well. And she should have played Yennefer on The Witcher. I mean, she's right there.
I know.
Perfect.
Yeah, but they had to pick an actress because they wanted to make a statement against conventional beauty.
Yeah, and one that
or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, and one that wasn't, white.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was right there, and she would have nailed it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she would. She would have. She would have. And again.
And she can act.
Yes,
not that the other actress is. The other actress isn't terrible, but she's miscast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and the show's going down the shitter definitely now. So I didn't bother with season 3, and apparently Henry Cavill wasn't even in the finale. So didn't miss much of anything at all.
No.
But yeah.
Well, it's not The Witcher, is it? It has the name, but that's it.
I know. Yeah, I'm saying I didn't bother with the current season.
Yeah, but Eva Green should have been a massive name. She's a big name, but it's she's a big name. She has the name recognition, but it's Netflix. They still could have afforded to pay her. Get a contract with her. She's not so big of a name that they could she was out of their league in terms of affordability, so to speak. No, Cavill was probably a bigger name.
Yeah,
and they got her for Penny Dreadful.
Yeah, so I'm I don't know why.
That show though is so up your alley. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, I'm trying to finish Criminal Intent. I'm on the last season. I think I have 4 more episodes, and then I'm done.
Just skip the 4th season, which is a reboot season set 30 years later in the 20s, because that's just a woke fest.
Okay.
But 1 through 3 is, you'll get the Wendigo as well, I think, in it.
Okay, cool. Well, that's a cryptid.
Yeah. Well, it's based on the Penny Dreadful stories.
Do you know why they're called Penny Dreadfuls?
Because they were cheap and poorly written.
Cheap, poorly written. And they could so be easily mass produced for the unwashed masses.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why they were called Penny Dreadfuls.
Because they cost a penny, and they were dreadful.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
kind of like our D&D sessions.
Anyway, my number 1. All right, back to.
Side note. Trey says she should have been Sadana. Yes,
Zatanna?
I can see
yes.
It. I can see that.
Mm-hmm. So my number 1, again, kind of back to the golden age of Hollywood, but it's primarily because of a film series that I very much enjoyed because I like mysteries, and I think she and her co-star William Powell had incredible chemistry. Not just in the Thin Man series, but also in other films that she starred alongside William Powell. To the point, their chemistry was so believable that people actually thought they were married in real life, and that is Myrna Loy. She could play comedy. She could play serious. In her early film career, she was actually more cast as like exotic roles because of her looks. And I hate to use this expression, but yellow face essentially. But Hollywood was notorious for that. Like you literally have Boris Karloff playing Fu Manchu. Nothing against Boris Karloff. I love Boris Karloff, but
you have John Wayne playing Genghis Khan as well.
yes. So I'm saying, like, you know, like Hollywood was notorious for that, and like early in Myrna Loy's film career, she like was cast in like those exotic type of characters until she branched out and actually demonstrated that she could do more than just the femme fatale, so to speak, type of roles. Like I said, good comedic timing, great chemistry with her male co-stars, like very like natural in her acting ability. The movie Best Years of Our Lives, it's not depressing, but it's not exactly an uplifting movie either, because it focuses on these three one's navies and I think one's Air Force. But anyway, like, you know, these three returning World War II veterans are returning home, finally able to return home, and basically, like, you know, showing them trying to return to their lives before World War II broke out, pretty much, and like what these soldiers were facing, or military men were facing when they returned home, you know, trying to find a job, trying to find a place to live, and so forth, and like returning to their family life, and how it's no longer like, you know, what you remember prior to it, because they're different in a sense. So there's another movie that I would recommend to you, Stig, if you have not watched it, Best Years of Our Lives. Yeah, Asta the dog and the Thin Man movies was really funny. So, but yeah, so there's another movie I would recommend. It has Myrna Loy in it, and other actors and actresses of that time. Which again, it's a serious movie. It's a serious movie. Like I said, it's not exactly depressing, but it's not exactly uplifting either. But it focuses on, like, again, like, you know, these veterans. I would say pretty much like these returning GIs, like, you know, trying to recapture in a sense the lives they had, or, like, you know, like go back to the lives they had prior to World War II. But again, like, you know, it's like you know, their hometowns are different. They're different, and they're trying to kind of like make sense of it in a sense. Yeah, there it is. But that's like the reason why, primarily the reason why she's on my list is because of the Thin Man films. So I love.
Never seen them.
So I would say, in my personal opinion, I gotta look up the Thin Man films, because there's one that I kind of refuse to watch again because a dog dies. I can't remember which one it is. I want to say this is another Thin Man.
I've noticed in some movies they make you think the dog died, but then it shows up at the end. Have you noticed that?
No, this one, the dog did die. I believe it's another Thin Man. And I can't say, like, you know, who does it, because it's the person who literally is like the culprit. So I can't say how it happened. But I want to say it's another Thin Man. Yeah, it has to be another Thin Man. Because Thin Man Goes Home is, I believe, the last one that I saw with William Powell and Myrna Loy. That one's okay. But the first two, I would say, are the only ones that you really need to watch that are good. And it kind of, like, in my opinion, goes downhill from the third one on. This is my opinion. But I'm not saying I don't watch them. That's just my, having seen all, the Thin Man, After the Thin Man, Another Thin Man, Song of the Thin Man, and Thin Man Goes Home. They kind of, dip off in terms of, entertainment a little bit. But Another Thin Man is the one I refuse to watch again. Because of what happens to the dog. But that's just me. Yeah, there was a time when they really believed in the movie. They were willing to work it, maybe not for, not quite for free, but close to it. Yeah, I've never seen the series either, but I've watched quite a bit of vintage movies. Really enjoyed Joan Crawford's and Barbara Stanwyck. Barbara Stanwyck was my one grandmother's favorite actress. We were just talking about Joan Crawford and her infamous feud with Bette Davis. So you might like them, Trey. They're mysteries. William Powell plays Nick Charles. He's a former detective who has retired because his wife, played by Myrna Loy, is wealthy, so he's pretty much a gentleman of leisure. But no matter what he tries to do, he's always pulled back into solving some type of mystery. And the first one is called The Thin Man. But the thing is, the series itself, Nick Charles is not the Thin Man, but somehow people associated that title with the Nick Charles character, where that title is actually the victim. Essentially the victim. But it became associated with Nick and Norval Charles, so they made it that series, the Thin Man series. Like Charlie Chan or The Falcon, really good mystery movies. I like Charlie Chan series is another good mystery movies. Victor Sen Young, whom I mentioned, playing a really good Weasley character in The Letter that I recommended to you, Stig, plays number 2 son in the Charlie Chan films. The character's name is Jimmy. And you'd either see him listed as Victor Sen Young or just Sen Young, pretty much. But he played number 2 son. And Key Luke, whom I will go into a little bit when I talk about Gremlins, played number 1 son in the Charlie Chan films. Even though the first movie I saw, Key Luke in, was, you can see the bottom of the poster, was Gremlins. He played the grandfather in Gremlins. Yeah, we brought up Mommy Dearest a bit earlier because Stig's, one of the actresses on his list, Faye Dunaway, played Joan Crawford in Mommy Dearest. So yes, it was insanely over the top, but then the feud was, at times, insanely over the top. So yeah. And yes, and I was talking about Baby Jane, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. They were in that together. And so the animosity you feel between the two actresses was genuine. They hated each other. So yeah. That's my number 1, Myrna Loy. So those are our top 10 actresses, ladies and gentlemen. So next week will be the good, the fun, and the weird.
Yeah.
Because it'll be the first. What?
I said woohoo.
Yes. Yes, Key Luke, yes, was in Kung Fu with David Carradine. So, yes. And so like I said, I'll be talking about that actor when we talk about Gremlins. First Gremlins as part of the 1s and 2s in December. But what I was thinking about for November, because I was literally just watching this film with my siblings last Saturday, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 and 2 for November. They have a little fun 1s and 2s, because we're going to be going into Evil Dead next month. We're going to be going into the Halloween 1 and 2 in October, and then we're going to be doing Gremlins 1 and 2. So I figure something a bit more lighthearted. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 and 2, the first 2 live action films, beginning with 1990. Yeah. So we're talking about those movies. That's what I want to do for November.
The first one was excellent.
Yes. So we were just watching the first one when I was hanging out with my siblings on Saturday. Nope, Jennifer Lawrence did not make either of our lists.
Because this isn't the first list.
Yes. No, it's not. But anyway, before I do my outro, Steve, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
Well, your channel on next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I pop on with Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, and sometimes I'm on with Teresa. Kind of depends on, if I'm awake or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much it.
And speaking of next week, like I said, the stream will be the good, the fun, and the weird, where we're talking about good stuff, fun stuff, and weird shit. And I'm pretty sure you all can find weird shits between now and next Wednesday. And then the 1s and 2s for next month will be Evil Dead 1 and 2. So you have until, I'll look at the calendar, you have until the 13th to watch the first Evil Dead film.
I actually bought the trilogy on Blu-ray, as well as the 3 seasons of Ash vs. Evil Dead. So I got them for, the idea was October, but I'm wanting to watch them already.
Mm-hmm. So you have until the 13th to watch the first Evil Dead film. And then the singles for September, if you have missed anything announcement that Orange Hat might have made. But the first one we'll be watching will be Dracula Untold. And we generally time them the same weeks as the 1s and 2s. So we'll be watching Dracula Untold. And then after that, we'll be watching the film Daybreakers.
That's with Sam Neill, isn't it? And Ethan Hawke?
Yes.
Yeah. I watched that when it came out. I don't remember.
I'll ask her. I'm not sure what her schedule is, but she's more than welcome to join Orange Hat myself to talk about the Evil Dead films if she so chooses. But I'd have to message her because I'm not sure how busy she is in the evenings because her schedule kind of changed. So I'd have to talk with her and see if she'd be available those dates. But but the singles for next month will be Dracula Untold, which will be the first one. That's on the 14th. And then on the 21st will be Daybreakers for next September. And then the top 10 lists, I'm just going to go with one of your ideas, Stig, because I've had a long week. I'll go with top 10 comic book characters.
Okay.
So top 10 comic book characters for the next next month's top 10. So that will be the 27th.
Is it main characters?
It doesn't have to be main. It doesn't have to be main characters. It can be villains.
Yeah.
But it's just top 10 comic book characters.
Okay.
Because it's for example, I generally gravitated to the, say for example, let's just give you can't see it, but the one picture that I'm pointing to there is Man-Bat. He's my I would say probably my favorite Batman villain. Not as well known, so I wouldn't say he's a main villain, but he's my favorite one. So I'd include him. He's one of my favorite comic book characters. Yeah, I already know your number one, Trey. I already know your number one.
We can't use my bang list, Gravy D, because Maura doesn't. She would have to just guess, wouldn't she?
I don't want to know. I really do not. I could go my entire life, rest of my entire life, and not know, and just be happy.
No, deep down you want to know.
No, I don't. I really don't. No.
I'll email you a list.
Oh my god.
With pictures and explanations as to why. No, I won't.
You know what the scary thing is? He would.
Oh, yes, I would. But
yes.
Truth be told, I don't think I have a top 10 list like that.
So, yes, but that is the schedule, the Wednesday schedule coming up. All right. So, and then I'll most likely be live on Twitch tomorrow evening. Might just jump onto some Armored Core 6 again. Try to finish that mission because apparently I found out the hard way. That even if you reach a checkpoint in a mission, if you quit, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You start the mission over again.
Oh, yeah, those are fun, aren't they?
Yeah, so I got to start the mission that I was raging against. I have to start it over tomorrow evening, but it is what it is. And Friday, I do my early afternoon streams, both YouTube and gaming. And then Sunday, Saturday, Talk Nerdy to Us. I have to talk to Steph about this. I have to make sure she understands, because Talk Nerdy to Us has to be Saturday, regardless. Because Sunday evening, I'll be playing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game with Calman and Chunk the Punk. So I wouldn't be able to push Talk Nerdy to Us to Sunday and do that plus D&D plus the gaming stream. So,
the next D&D mission is gonna be. I think it might be the best one.
You talking about the main one or my solo?
No, the Sunday.
Sunday. Okay, I was gonna say, because I'm doing trying to do a solo one tomorrow, which I cannot talk about.
Yep.
Which I will not be able to talk about, chat. So don't ask.
Yep. Very secret.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, the one on Sunday, there's like almost like a callback, and there's a fairy tale reference, and I made it as fucked up as I can.
No surprise there, chat. But anyway, thank you all for hanging out with us. See you all next week, on Wednesday, for the good, the fun, and the weird. And until then, have a good rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are in the world, and we will see you all next week.
Have a splendid week.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.